This is Iceland, this is my bike, and this is me, seasick in a small ferry cabin. Over the next few weeks I will be cycling around the Ring Road of Iceland, the land of fire and ice. Cycling is not something that I do on a professional level, but with a little bit of willpower, a nice bike, and some great social skills,
hello little horse,
I'm sure that this will be another great adventure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now arrived in Iceland. Thank you for choosing Smitter Line, and we wish you all a pleasant stay. And a special thanks to Nicholas, who will spend his next week cycling, a truly great adventurer who will forever be a part of the amazing history of our ship passengers. There are a few of his caliber.
What?
This is it, my fellow explorers, and no time to waste. A brutal uphill awaits to the #1 road, which I will follow for the next 1,400 kilometers. Am I prepared for this? Well, if you consider having a bike as being prepared, then yes, we're good. But if you think about actually being fit for the physical challenges ahead, absolutely not. I've only done 2 trips this entire year in my neighborhood. For the past 3 days, I've been stuck in a small ferry cabin, stuffing my face with candy and beer.
This is me, 1 kilometer into the trip. This is also me, 3 kilometers into the trip.
And after a few kilometers of warm-up, I made it into Egilstadir.
And that is the official start of the Ring Road of Iceland, which I will now follow for 1,400 kilometers. And man, is it cold.
And just to make sure I got my money's worth, at the end of the first day, I decided to do something that I hadn't done for a couple of years.
I'm gonna ride a horse. That horse looks like a mammoth. It's funny, I literally used to live in a stable and all my family used to do horse riding. But I never did, because I was a boy and boys they didn't do horse riding. Which I regret to this day, because only girls did horse riding. Feels like I should have been doing this all my life.
And now let's do some riding.
And there's only one type of horse in Iceland, it's the Icelandic horse, and it looks like this. Into the sea, and the trees are sweet. I'm falling off the horse.
Once we were done riding, I grew my slightly offensive horse and went back on the bike.
Whenever people told me, Nicholas, you have to go to Iceland because it's so beautiful, all the mountains, all the fjords, it's crazy. And I'm like, come on, it can't be that amazing, right? Here we have a rock in the middle of the water, and I don't even know why I think it's cool, but it's just awesome. So much stuff to see. The ocean, volcano, glacier, you have everything here. But what is even more amazing is the birds out in the sea that's just chilling. And the waves, they're brutal. That's gotta be my life goal, becoming a bird like that, because they have no worries.
And after a quick tour of the beach, I began to realize just how big of a challenge Iceland could be. As I traveled further south, I was surprised by the change in nature. Great swamps as desolate and flat as a squished out roadkill. As I gazed into the distance, one of life's great mysteries came into question. If I had to poop, where would I hide?
By looking at all the cars over there in the distance, I would say we're closing in to Diamond Beach. This is where you can find glacier ice on black sand. Did I get the shot where I just casually walk into something really cool that makes it look awesome when it's in slow motion? Good? Look at this beautiful, mighty glacier. If only we could see it through all those clouds.
Fortunately, the skies opened up, and wherever you turned your head, there was one great natural experience after another.
Here we have Black Falls, or as it's called in the modern ages, high on Melatonin Falls. You know what I hate about Iceland? Is that when you follow the main road, everywhere you look, there's a natural wonder. Then I have to stop and take pictures of it. And to get an aerial view, I have to send up my drone because it's so damn beautiful. Then I can't follow my plan and schedule. Here we have the lava moss fields. Kind of looks like a winter wonderland covered with snow, only that it's green instead. This road is not open for everyone. I just snuck in because I'm a bad boy. This place is like nothing I've ever seen before. Holy mother of God. So Nicholas, you spend an awful lot of hours out here all by yourself, looking at nothing else than your front wheel, your handlebars, and your own blue balls. Don't you ever get bored? And what do you do to occupy yourself? Well, my friend, I'm glad you asked, and I'll be happy to provide an answer. You see those yellow cones? And whenever I pass one, I aim at it with my spit. And if it hits, I get a point. If I miss, I don't get a point. Now let's see if we can hit one. Ah, shit! I fuck, too low. One multiplies bit. Oh my. Yeah! I got one! Yes! A point for me!
As I walked towards Skogafoss and people were doing random poses for their Instagram photos, I just couldn't stop thinking to myself, how can those seagulls live next to what is essentially the world's most massive shower? Aren't they always wet? I might never know. It's been 10 years since my first bikepacking trip. A cheap bike, a pair of sneakers, and no other plan than to go from A to B. That's basically how my trips are done, even though they led to some frustrating situations. With Iceland, I wanted to plan as much as possible, and so far, it seems to be going very well. Bike is fine, I'm doing as good as can be, and I had tailwind most of my journey. Tailwind is like injecting your ass with steroids and adrenaline before a workout. Some days, you might go twice as fast. But I still can't shake the feeling that I've been lucky. There's no such thing as an easy bikepacking trip, and the peace and quiet I've had so far is only a deep breath before the plunge. Today, we're entering Reykjavik, which means we're halfway on cycling the Ring Road of Iceland. Up next is the north. We will be closer to the Arctic Circle, and the terrain will be rougher and even more remote. I'm hoping for the best, but also preparing for the worst.
Horsey, 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 horsey. Hello, horsey. You want to be my friend? Can all of you become my friends, please? Another day, another mountain to climb. I don't know if this is just a funny coincidence. In every country I visit, north always seems to be this open, vast area full of weird, drunken people with funny dialects. And Iceland doesn't seem to be any different, although I do not understand a word they're saying. So, speaking of which, what a big, beautiful hole. As a part of my plan to cycle the Ring Road of Iceland, I wanted to get in touch with my Norse ancestors, so I decided to learn Icelandic. I invited 2 Icelandic football players from the Norwegian team Rosenborg to sit down and listen while I told jokes in Icelandic.
Ja, jag säger för brantara. Ja. Kep du för bröstaltara.
I pull up you deep on my niggas, consider it's pivotal. Trap through the app, make a clap it, don't cap it, she tapping it fast. I think that you know they be catching it. Standing 6 feet up.
As we moved further into the mountains of the north, the winds picked up and the hills became a regular addition to the harsh weather. But with every step that I took, I knew I was getting closer to my goal of completing the Ring Road. I couldn't really stop either. Sitting on that seat was the only thing that kept me from pooping myself.
This is insanely beautiful, but it's also so damn cold that I'm not sure if I even have a wiener anymore. When I was a young boy, I always thought that clouds were made by factory chimneys. How stupid of me to think that. Of course they're not. They're made here, in Iceland.
All joking aside, Iceland is without a doubt one of the most fascinating countries I've ever experienced. The country is literally made for photographers and adventurers, and as I neared the end, I got to experience just how different Iceland can be.
Here's a mountains. Today I will take on this landscape, which is nothing but volcanic rocks. The winds are picking up, it's partially cloudy, and for the next days the temperature will drop for about minus 15 degrees. But as the old Icelandic saying goes, at least it's not raining. Fuck, I missed. This is what nothing looks like. That's where I came from today. And this is where I'm going now. It's kind of nice, same time, it's boring. It's so boring. You have mountains, but that's it. The rest is just gravel and this. I do though understand that people find Iceland really beautiful, but cycling this place, especially in the north, oh my god.
Iceland is not only made up of flat areas, it is also rich in mountainous terrain. Which raises another question.
Are you allowed to cycle through tunnels in Iceland? Well, yes and no.
Let's use this sign as an example. If you want to go through Heidinsfjarðargöng, that tunnel, if you're above 4.2 meters, you're not allowed to go through. If you're a human being, you're also not allowed to go through. And if you're a human being on a horse, you are definitely not allowed to go through. Nothing indicating that cyclists can't go through. So this one, that's okay. But what if you're a human being on a horse on a bicycle? Are you allowed to go through then? But if you see this sign, then please do not enter. And never bring your horse, ever.
So, what do I think about Iceland? Is it worth the journey? I've never wanted to go back to a country more. The little I got to experience felt huge, and I can't even imagine what else there is to see. That will have to be in the future, because now I'm nearing the end.
I don't know if you can see it, but over there is Egilsstaðir. Of course you can't see it, because I don't have a zoom lens! Egilsstaðir means that we're closing in at the end of the Ring Road of Iceland, which doesn't make any sense, because how can a ring have an end? Oh, it's such a beautiful sunset. Hey, Nicholas, why do you look like a lumberjack? There was a pretty bad rain over there, so I had to change. And this is all I had left. Would I recommend doing this to anyone? No, of course not. Stupid. Why would you want to go up and down mountains through all sorts of weather conditions, freezing, hungry, and all of this only to get a blurry selfie with a mountain you don't even know the name of? And maybe that's the thing, it's simply just stupid enough. I just told someone it would be fun to do, and it kind of just picked up from there. So anyway, all done. This is Egilsstaðir, Ring Road finished, and I'll see you on the next Silly adventure. Ring Road of Iceland is done!